This year, as we sit by the Seder, we're once again going to begin the Haggadah with the words Halach Ma'anya. But if you look at the words, there's a simple question. We begin by inviting all poor people into our homes. Then we end with the words L'shana haba b'nei chayrin. Next year may we be free. Yes, that's a nice line. But what's the connection to the beginning, to inviting our guest? I want to share with you a beautiful, powerful story. Rabbi Yechiel Mordechai Gordon was an incredible person. He knew the entire Shas and was the Rosh Yeshiva of the Lomzi Yeshiva. But this great man saw incredible pain. He lost his wife to the infectious disease typhus. Afterwards, he married his wife's sister and built a beautiful home. Throughout the First World War, he kept his yeshiva going and kept strong. A few years later, he was in America fundraising for his yeshiva, and the Second World War broke out. He couldn't go home, and his family couldn't get out. His wife and 4 of his kids were killed by the Nazis, Yimach Shemam. He was left with just 1 son. After the war, he moved to Eretz Yisrael and rebuilt the Lomzi Yeshiva in Petach Tikva. It was a great yeshiva again. Then, the unthinkable happened. His 1 remaining son, 1 remaining child, was killed. He had nobody left. The yeshivas of the time decided they can't tell him. They didn't know if he'd be able to handle the news, so they kept it a secret from him. One day, an older man came to speak to the yeshiva. He didn't know the yeshiva didn't know about his son. And during the conversation, he mentioned how amazed he was that the yeshiva, after losing his only last child, was still able to continue to lead the yeshiva and continue to give shiurim and go on. Rabbi Yechiel Mordechai finished the conversation, and as soon as the man walked out the door, he immediately fainted. After they revived him, his Talmidim asked him, Yeshiva, how was it possible that you were able to continue this conversation with the man till he left? Listen to what Rabbi Yechiel Mordechai told them. Imagine if I would have reacted right away when the man told me. He would have known he broke the news to me, and imagine how much pain he would have been in. Of course I couldn't react right away. That is the definition of a Yid. Even in his greatest moment of pain, still thinking about someone else. When we began Halach Ma'anya, we invited the poor people in. We give them a nice chair, good food, even some expensive wine. But you know what we can't give them? That feeling of not being poor. That feeling that they too have a beautiful home with great food. So right away when we start the Haggadah, we say, yes, it may seem like this year I'm better than you, but no, really we're all equal slaves, and next year we'll all be free together. We begin with a message to those in pain, to those suffering, a message of unity and hope. This year more than ever, so many people are going to the Siddharim alone. So many people with broken hearts, and Chalila some with both. But we begin the Seder with a message that even though we can't imagine the pain you're in, you're never alone. We're one nation, with one heart, and we're here for you no matter what. The second message is that no matter what, we have hope. We're going to talk about the miracles that Hashem did in the past and know that He will do them again. Yes, it might seem dark right now, but we begin with the message, L'shana haba b'nei chayrin. Next year we will all be free. Free from this horrible magefa and free from all the pain and suffering that so many are going through.